One of the most common mistakes I find when reviewing automation engineers' PRs is the use of .nth and .first. It seems to be something that AI defaults to very commonly, and once that pattern's in your code base, trying to get it out is a massive headache. It also creates a ton of flakiness, and frankly, is just not a great practice. So today I want to show you how you can effectively use other tools that are designed to accurately get to locators and no longer have to use .nth or .first. Okay, so before we start doing this, why does .first and .nth exist? And the reason why is because there's a very limited but legitimate use case of when you would want to use .first or .nth. And the core reason primarily is when you, for some reason, have non-deterministic data and there's a table and you simply want to choose the first row in that table. That being said, generally, even in that situation, you should not use .first or .nth. You should ideally have some level of ability to know what the data is in that table and go ahead and choose it. That tool, .nth and .first, because it was introduced for a very legitimate but limited use case, allows, though, a ton of use cases that cause much bigger headaches when you start to use them. And then the problem with AI is that it's taken that and it's completely blown up the use of it, particularly because if you introduce it into your code base as a valid pattern, AI is going to start applying it very commonly for a bunch of areas where it shouldn't be. And so when we look at what I mean by that, like here's a situation where it's like .first, right? And this is common solution when a locator matches multiple things, right? You would have .first, or you would have another common situation, which is like .nth, which is also when a locator matches multiple things, right? So the whole reason of these locators existing or this .first versus .nth is when you have locators that need to be isolated, right? And why is it flaky? It's flaky for a variety of reasons, but the most important, which is you actually have no idea what you're clicking because you are simply assuming that .first or .nth is still accurate on the page. If anything ever changes on the page, you are clicking something else and you have no control over that. So you've not done any form of determinism or isolation for your test case. So the solution is actually fairly straightforward. There's two core solutions for this, and I want to show you both. I will find it. Let me find it. Okay. So the first solution is that when you have a locator that matches multiple things on the page, the most common situation is you just need to wrap it in a parent locator that is unique. And so now you have a unique chain and it matches to one thing. For example, if you have a test ID here, right, or get row edit, you can put it in the row specifically you want. I don't love that as an example, but another example would be, let's imagine you have a save button and that save button exists on a modal. And then there's also a save button that exists on the main page. All you have to do in order to get the save button for the modal, right, is not use .first or .nth or whatever. You would simply just grab the modal as the parent container or locator, put the save button directly within it, and then now you have a chained locator that is accurately going to do the save button. The other common scenario would be that when you have something that you need to reference another piece of data to get. So a common would be like an edit icon that probably has a whole bunch of edit icons or other sort of repeating things on a page that are not necessarily unique, but can become unique by referencing other components within that page. So the most common is within tables or cards or other things. And what you do is simply wrap it, right? So you wrap it in your parent container. You're going to use another container and then a .filter has text. And then you can then do your action based on that with its next locator. And so in this case, what we're looking at is we're looking for the row that has the text Marcus. We are going to grab the edit icon and we're going to click, right? And what I find very often is instead of doing that effectively and having a complete control over what and how it's going to do, people tend to just do like .fifth, or they'll even do just like some weird versions of that, or not .fifth, excuse me, .nth or .first. But really, it's a nope. If you want to click on the edit icon, what you do is you figure out how to isolate the row with the text, right? So both of those are much more effective solutions for trying to actually grab the right locators when you have multiple matching locators. So with that, hope it was helpful. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos over the next few weeks. Please don't hesitate with any ideas or questions or anything else you want covered. And thanks for checking out the video.